3, 2, 1, start.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Piyush Goyal. I've been looking forward to this episode of The Nation Wants to Know. It's very topical today. I'll come straight to the point. You had a long day. You had a series of interviews and you had the announcement early this morning. The specifics of this, what is being described as the framework for the interim deal, were announced. And as we understand, this is an interim agreement, right? It's an interim agreement between us and the Americans. And it'll open up a new market for us and for them as well. May I take the opportunity to fire the question straight, which people want to answer specifically? The first is this, that congratulations, because I think this has largely protected the interests of Indian farmers, though I have some clarification to ask you. My first question is this, so that you have got 18% on paper from 50%, effectively. Donald Trump does not seem to have anything on paper yet. Am I reading this right?
Well, both teams have labored for almost a year now. Prime Minister Modi and President Trump met in February last year when they decided to enter into a bilateral trade agreement for the long-term prosperity of both nations and the people of both nations. Since then, we've been in negotiations. In fact, India is the only country which has done a very detailed, very, very exhaustive negotiation and not entered into a broad agreement without the details being finalized in advance. Okay. Maybe that took a little longer, but therefore it is more robust, more mature. It protects the sensitivities of both countries. They have sensitivities just like we have sensitivities. It protects all of that and therefore becomes a win-win deal.
How much negotiation is left?
For the interim agreement, which we call the phase 1 of the bilateral trade agreement, we were to finish it by end of calendar 25. It's about a couple of months beyond schedule. But I think that's fine because we never negotiate with any hard deadlines. It's always an estimate that let's try to get over the line by fall of 25. Took a couple of months more, but therefore has become much more robust. For the interim agreement, for the phase 1 of the BTA, there's no more negotiation. We have to put into paper whatever we have finalized, and then we'll continue to work together with America because we have to reach much greater heights to become a Viksit Bharat.
Sir, there is the 25% penalty tariff which is linked to our Russian oil purchase has been removed without India formally changing its energy policy. Now, in the entire joint statement, I read it many, many times, neither Russia is mentioned directly nor is there any commitment on Russian oil. This was a big surprise because Washington was harping on this till even a day ago. My very specific question to you, sir, is the Russian oil aspect bereft of being a clause in the deal? What is the status of it?
It's not a part of a trade deal. It's not a part of the mandate that I carry. So therefore, it's not in the trade deal. I never discuss issues related to oil. They are looked after by the Foreign Ministry. They are already on record. They have more than once given public statements in their press briefings. It's a subject that they handle. It's beyond my remit.
But Trump said on the Russian oil deal that that is our Prime Minister, agreed to stop buying Russian oil.
You'll have to ask the Foreign Ministry spokesperson.
But you had there further, White House spokesperson said he spoke with the Prime Minister directly, Prime Minister Modi. India committed to not only no longer purchasing Russian oil, but also buying oil from the United States and perhaps also from Venezuela.
Well, I think the Foreign Ministry are the best people to know what happened. I did my trade deal, and that's what my focus is.
But isn't this the core issue?
I don't think so. The trade deal stands on its own legs.
The opposition is pulling out an excerpt of a certain Section 4, which seems to be part of a Donald Trump executive order dated February 6th, titled, and I quote, modifying duties to address threats to the US by the government of the Russian Federation. I want to get specific on this aspect. This says that the Secretary of Commerce, in coordination with the Secretary of State, blah, 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 shall monitor whether India remains directly or indirectly importing Russian Federation oil as defined in Section 7 of the executive order. If the Secretary of Commerce finds that India has resumed directly or indirectly importing Russian Federation oil, the Secretary of State shall, in conjunction with so and so forth,
but Arnab, I don't handle this subject.
Recommend whether or what extent it shall take additional action as to India, whether it should reimpose an additional ad valorem rate of 25% duty of imports of articles of India. So the 25%...
Probably the MEA would be the best people to respond to that.
But the threat remains, doesn't it?
I don't know what was discussed.
This is a presidential order which has said that they will monitor whether we are buying Russian oil.
It's
and
between,
if we buy any Russian oil, then they will reimpose potentially the 25%.
It's between the foreign ministry. It's a geopolitical issue which they have to sort
but
out.
It is it is an issue that concerns India.
I'm not in the picture.
But from the point of view of consistency, Mr. Goyal, the fact is that should people...
I'm very consistent on my trade negotiations.
I understand
and
that,
I stick to my job.
But when people are saying that the rate comes to 18%, they're assuming the 25% is gone forever.
But that is
Does
already
this
gone.
remain
The executive order is already out.
For now.
That 25%
but they've said that they'll keep monitoring whether we buy Russian.
That's for the foreign ministry and America to sort out.
So Trump signed this executive order on the 6th, the day before the specifics of the deal were released. So in the interim deal, is it incumbent on India pulling back purchases of Russian oil?
Our trade deal has nothing to do with oil.
But oil, are we buying Russian oil?
I don't run any oil company, neither do I own any oil company, neither do I purchase
but
or
is it
sell
gone completely or are they monitoring it? So Trump is saying, we'll keep monitoring it.
Yeah, you're beating around the bush, but you're not going to get anything because I don't know.
What is our position on it? We have such a deep relationship with Russia.
We'll have to ask the MEA.
Because Trump is very touchy on this.
We'll have to ask the MEA.
But they'll say, you asked the Commerce Minister.
No. They've never said that. Whenever it was oil, they have addressed the issue.
So it's for the MEA to consider that issue.
Trade-related issues. I address anything related to trade.
Let me go to another issue here. Because Trump's claim of zero entry barriers, he has spoken about zero entry barriers, but we don't see a blanket commitment in the joint statement. Are we correct to assume that we haven't pledged any blanket commitment on that front?
It can't work that way. Every country has their own rules, regulations, procedures, processes. America has their own. And what one normally does in a free trade agreement is tries to smoothen the process to encourage more business. So in every free trade agreement, and we've done many, you always have pathways and you segue for greater trade between the two contracting parties. And I think that's good for trade.
But I felt that, we felt, I mean, when we saw this, we said directly that Trump is usually exaggerating. When he said that that is India, will likewise move forward to reduce their tariff and non-tariff barriers against the US to zero. But the joint statement is more nuanced. It says India will eliminate or reduce tariff. This
is exactly what
on all, but it's not what Trump is claiming.
Well, it's the final document, the joint statement. And then another month or so we'll work out the final legal agreement which will determine exactly what has been
But
done.
we haven't committed to eliminating tariffs on all US industrial goods or food and agricultural products. But that's how Trump
Usually
presented.
market access is what is the important issue. And market access can be given in many ways. You give a concessional duty which gives you a preference over others. You may make a tariff rate quota. You may have a phased reduction of duty.
Over a period of time.
A lot of possibilities are there. So it's market access and the comparative advantage that really is defining a trade deal.
You know, when we saw the Trump statement initially look like a pledge, we thought it was great. But Trump spoke about a $500 billion commitment. The joint statements indicates an intent. And you referred to the same thing in your press conference. Intent is different from pledge.
Well, please try to understand, Arnab. Neither does American businesses decide the prices based on government intervention, nor does Indian government decide who and from where anybody will purchase a product. But when we look at the areas where US has a comparative advantage, or they're really in a position
Technology,
to be able to bring to India, a few things come to mind straight away. And as you rightly pointed out, technology is one of them. NVIDIA chips. What would we do? How would we set up data centers if we didn't get NVIDIA chips? Our whole AI mission, semiconductors, our quantum computing mission, all of that is dependent on high quality technology products from the US. This agreement cements our relationship and ensures that our technology partnership also flourishes and we can get a free flow of these goods, which will help us get huge investments, help us create jobs in data centers and the creation of data centers, in the operation of data centers, help the ecosystem grow, help us earn foreign exchange. It's a
No,
fantastic.
I completely understand the pragmatic perspective.
Similarly, we are a growing country, fastest growing economy on earth. Our steel production is estimated to double from 140 million to 300 million tons, and then go further from there. We will need more coking coal. We already import 15 or 17 billion dollars worth of
That's
coking
mentioned
coal.
in the joint agreement, coking coal.
It'll double to 30 billion dollars every year. Similarly, oil, LNG, LPG, crude oil, we have huge requirement. And none of these things we are starting from today. Even when the Congress was in government for 10 years, 4 to 14, all of this was being imported. Even when the government was in power in the 90s, most of these things were imported. So I think what we have only done is, instead of working piecemeal, we've aggregated it. We judged that we are already importing about $300 billion of goods, aircrafts. Do you know our orders placed on Boeing alone with the GE engines and spare parts are 80, 90 or $100 billion. We need all of that in the next 5 years. When we aggregate all of that, even today, we are importing $300 billion every year. And when we look at the growth in India, particularly in ICD products, the growth is phenomenal. We will need at least $2 trillion of these
So you're
products
saying this
in the next 5 years.
Because
we need $2 trillion of these products in the next 5 years, I think
that
America
too much can be made of this 500 billion.
Share.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm completely practical about this. I don't look upon a deal as a war. I said it on my own program. Some people look at it as a war and who won and who lost. But you know, what you're saying is this $500 billion worth of purchase from US in the next 5 years is not hugely exceptional. It would have been part of our plan anyway.
And it's a part of our growth story.
It's part of our growth story. So my follow-up on that is, on buying American, I see a significant portion of this 500 billion, I think you've clarified, Ministry, or it's in the trade deal, is tied to GPUs, you know, ICD products, data center equipment, advanced technology. So is India, is the country deliberately locking in quickly on critical technologies needed for AI, semiconductors or digital initiatives before the global shortages begin?
Sure, look at it this way. Today, there are only two places from where you can get most of these equipments.
Yes.
Would you not like to work with a trusted partner like the United States of America? Or would, like the Congress party, anybody desire that we go to the other side? Obviously, I think as a good, responsible government, we would like to get the US to be our principal supplier and also look at the dimensions. Prime Minister Modi doesn't think only of one issue. He thinks comprehensively. When we look at talk of data centers, and we give income tax concession right up to 2047 for foreign investment coming into India to set up cloud services to serve the world.
Yeah.
Now look at it. We get foreign investment and get foreign exchange. We create jobs in building the data centers. When we buy these data center equipment and put them up here, the whole ecosystem benefits in India. We create jobs not only in the data center, but in our whole AI, artificial intelligence mission, creating LLMs, creating applied AI products. Secondly, all these data centers largely like to run on clean energy, renewable energy. And there's a huge amount of energy requirement in thrusts. You know, when the computing is going on,
yes,
there's a lot of power demand which comes in spurts. So you need redundancy in a big way. India, thanks to Prime Minister Modi, who started this project in 2014, has a national grid. So we can offer a huge amount of redundancy. We already have 250 gigawatt of renewable energy. By 2030, it will be 500 gigawatt, one of the largest in the world. So we can offer really low cost, 24-hour renewable energy. This will help us create a demand for the 100 gigawatt of nuclear energy we want to set up in India. All of this is further investments, is further jobs, is clean energy, which is good for India, and takes us on the high table in the world.
So your point is, and I think that's very critical, is that we are also addressing future global supply chain issues by doing this. And this 500 billion is a number. It's not an exceptional item for us. May I come to the most important issue of agriculture? Mr. Goyal, because that's a sticky issue. It's a political issue. People want views on it. People want direct conversation on it. Have you been, by the way, noticing the opposition?
I tried to look it up, except for these 2, 3, 4 people in the Congress and that ecosystem that they support. Nobody else has any misunderstanding. After my presser today morning, after the number of interviews I've given, the people have understood that India has not compromised with the farmers' interest even one bit.
No, I agree with you on that. I in fact, congratulate you on it. It mustn't have been easy for you to do that.
If you don't mind,
can I ask you the question first?
If you don't mind, may I tell your viewers how we have protected the farmers in all the critical
You can do
items.
that, but let me ask you the question first. You can explain as much as you want, because in this limited time with you, I want to make the most of it. Mr. Goyal, I've been watching you and your press conference interview. You've said that no product on which we are Atmanirbhar has been kept out. So I think
has been included.
Included.
They've all been kept
right,
out.
And that no import benefits are given to U.S. agriculture and dairy. Now, my very specific question to you is, sir, can you categorically confirm, because this is going live and people are watching it in huge numbers, can you categorically confirm to me that there is no side letter?
Absolutely not.
No. There is no review clause?
Absolutely not on this.
There is no future trigger that reopen, that can potentially reopen.
Zero.
You're not even waiting for me to finish the question. that can potentially.
I have the courage of conviction and my self-confidence, because when we negotiated, it was very clear.
No, I need to have this question
understood. Have no scope for
I need to have this
India.
question answered, because this is the clip that people will watch. I want a clarification directly from you. So I will ask you the question again, Mr. Goyal. Can you categorically confirm, on the nation wants to know, that there is no side letter, review clause or future trigger that can reopen dairy or any sensitive farm sectors once the final deal is signed in March or wherever?
I would like to categorically say to the viewers of Republic Bharat, and to the people of India, that there is absolutely no side letter, absolutely no trigger, absolutely no possibility or scope in our understanding that all these products which have been kept out, and if I may name a few: meat, poultry, all forms of dairy, GM food products, soya meal, maize, that's corn, makkah, cereals like rice and wheat, sugar, millets like jawar, bajra, ragi, kodu, amaranth, fruits which are in abundant in India like banana, strawberries, cherries, citrus fruits, pulses like green pea, Kabuli chana, moong, oil seeds, certain animal feed, groundnuts, honey, malt and its extracts, non-alcoholic beverages, flour and meals, starch, essential oils, ethanol for fuel, big thing that we are doing in India. Tobacco, all of these things are absolutely out of the deal.
How do you manage that? Given the fact, okay, let me follow up on this. See, I know that you are a tough negotiator.
No, that's something.
I think you can be quite obstinate as well. So, credit to you. Let me tell you this, that many people thought that you had hit a roadblock. I don't know if you know it, but many people in October thought that, no, Piyush Goyal is not going to be able to make this through. You have enough cynics. My question is, despite at least an interim deal with the US, we have drawn a red line, a firm red line. No genetically modified crops will enter the country. Now, the US is a major exporter of GM agricultural produce, and yet we have refused market access. Am I reading this right? A. B. How did you swing that, given how obstinate Washington is on this?
Negotiation is all about give and take. Fortunately, Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi has a very high trust across the world, including in America. He has a very robust friendship with President Trump, which has been stated by President Trump himself on many occasions. They share a strong bond as two large democracies concerned about the shared prosperity of the people of India and America. And both leaders guided the negotiating teams that they would like to look at what is good for both nations, They'd like to keep the sensitivities out of the agreement and try to focus on the big picture, the big gains for both economies. And that's exactly what we've done. This is a very fair, equitable, balanced, win-win trade agreement, which will help both economies.
Was there any time when they said we'd walk out if you don't give us access to GMO?
Well, India today, an economy of $4 trillion, slated to become a $30 or $35 trillion economy by 2047. 1.4 billion Indians, young, energetic, aspirational, looking for a better quality of life, for a better future for their families. A democracy where the rule of law prevails. A country with a decisive leader who's focused on reform, transformation of the economy, who's taken 25 crore people out of poverty, who's helping our middle class go out of the low-income trap into higher incomes. Somebody who's very focused on creating infrastructure. Somebody who's focused on making jobs available, startups getting an opportunity to become job creators, different sectors of the economy showing robust growth, taxes being reduced continuously. Somebody whose heart beats for India, somebody with a compassion to serve the poor and a passion to see India as a developed nation, clearly is a leader whom America trusts, Americans trust, and they could see that the big India opportunity, the delta of opportunity from 4 trillion to 30, 35 trillion is not to be missed. Okay. Similarly, the US is a $30 trillion economy, huge potential for our labor-intensive sectors, millions and millions of youth, our boys and girls, our sisters, our women power will get an opportunity to grow our exports, to make in India, to design in India, to innovate in India.
Right.
The potential is limitless. In the words of the American ambassador, this is a trade deal with limitless potential.
No, absolutely. Two more questions and I'll wrap this up. Mr. Goyal, you've confirmed, agriculture again I'm going, so that there are no areas left out. You've said many products from India will now be exported to the US at zero duty. You've confirmed that a wide range of fruits, vegetables, farm produce, banana, mango, guava, avocado, kiwi, papaya, pineapples, mushrooms, cereals, barley, bakery products, cocoa products, and even sesame seeds will enter the US market without duties. So contextually, we are not giving them access to their GMO. We are not giving them access in a wide range of areas where we are Atmanirbhar in agriculture. But are we getting a greater advantage? How would you say our farmers, in terms of threat, risk, do a SWOT analysis of it, what it means to the medium farmer in India?
In any transaction, if you respect each other's sensitivities, you can go far. And every country has certain USPs. The American USP at a $90,000 per capita income are vastly different from India's USPs. So the trade-off is not always straight 1:1. If I ask for concessions in textiles, it doesn't mean that they're looking for concessions in textiles because they can't make textiles at the cost at which we can. We're actually supporting their economy. Similarly, when I ask them to supply me ICT products, they're not asking me for similar correspondingly that I'm not asking them that you allow me ICT.
It's complex.
It's always
complex.
It's always a holistic whole.
Correct.
You balance one against the other. You trade off the areas of interest of one country with the areas of interest in India. And that's how you prepare a balanced deal.
I completely understand that. So, which brings me to my last question, which is a political question out here. I must say that putting out this deal and the details of the deal in the middle of a parliament session is quite brave. And everyone's going to read the detail out here. I personally believe that it's been a great deal for us. And I've got an opportunity to check with you on a few facts. But, yeah, opposition has put out a video, multiple videos. They're saying Piyush Goyal is now operating on American time zones. But they're saying that while tariffs on Indian goods have gone up, which is a blatant lie, by the way, tariffs on US goods have been reduced to zero. Now, they've reduced this to simplistics. And hence, there is a narrative issue. I understand the details of it, but this, whatever, lack of understanding, SAG rates, whatever they say, when they call it deal or surrender.
A few days ago, I'm sure you must have heard Mr. Rahul Gandhi repeatedly asking when will the trade deal happen. It's really sour grapes, angur khatte. They are not able to reconcile with the fact that an absolutely wonderful trade deal has been entered into between the US and India. Possibly they are also worried that if lakhs and millions of our youth, our women power will get new opportunities, if the economy flourishes and does very well, they will further have to go down. And maybe instead of the next 25 years, they are looking at 50 years in oblivion. So therefore, for them, it's a question of criticizing any and everything. National interest hardly matters for a Congress MP or a Samajwadi DMK MP. For them, everything is around one family. In DMK, it is the Karunanidhi family. In Congress, it's the Gandhi family. Samajwadi Party, it is the Akhilesh Yadav family. In Mamta Banerjee's TMC, it is Mamta Banerjee and her nephew. So sadly, these can't see beyond that. It is only Prime Minister Modi who's truly, as a nationalist, with a heart of gold, with the passion of somebody who wants to see a developed and prosperous India, working day and night, not looking at the clock, not saying I'm retiring for the day and now we'll talk on Monday. It was a Friday night. We had already been working over the last many months. We had come to the fag end of the negotiations, the dots and T's and commas as it happens at the end. You've done investment banking, raised capital. You know how it is towards the end.
Of course.
It's people who care for the country, who care for the industry, who care for MSMEs, care for our fishermen, care for our farmers, care for our youth, care for the opportunities that this is going to create, the investments this is going to attract, that we cannot possibly take the excuse that it's time to sleep. We have to work 24 hours a day if we have to serve the people of India. If we want to see a developed India, time will never be a constraint. Prime Minister Modi often says, you work 18 hours, I'll work an hour more than you. You work, whatever work everybody, my team puts in, my people put in, I'll put in extra effort so that my country can be strong and prosperous.
Brilliant. You've done a great job. Will the trade deal be signed in Delhi or Washington finally?
I've invited my counterpart, Mr. Jameson Greer,
yes,
Honorable United States Trade Representative, and by the way, a very dear friend and a wonderful friend,
yes,
to come down to India next month.
Yes.
I have also talked to Mr. Sergio Gore, the ambassador of the US to India, who was very helpful and instrumental in helping us close things quickly. He was up, by the way, the whole night. He's in India. He's in this part of Central Asia. He was yesterday, last night. But he was up the whole night also. Mr. Jameson Greer was on the call with me several times during the day. Our teams were negotiating last almost 2 or 3 days relentlessly. Day or night. For us in the night, they were up for our daytime. They have been up in the nights. But that's what true good negotiations are all about.
Trump's going to come to India to sign it, or will it be signed in Washington?
I've invited Mr. Jameson Greer. These deals are always signed at ministerial or official level. Okay. So I'm looking forward to his visit.
Well, that will be fantastic. When is that?
Sometime in March. We'll have to match calendars and schedules. Okay. We also have Parliament in March. Wow. So we'll work it out.
Well, I can say well done, Mr. Goyal.
Thank you so
Many
much.
people thought it would be difficult for you to pull this off. But this is one of the biggest things you pulled off, and now you're off to the Tamil Nadu elections. So from one thing to the other.
Amongst many other FTAs which are concurrently either already under negotiation, some at very advanced stage, and many other countries who want us to start immediately.
Can you let us in on anyone?
Of course. I just launched the GCC negotiation with the 6 Middle East countries 2 days back in the same very room. Chile negotiations are at a very advanced stage with Chile. Peru negotiations are going on. We are working with Mercosur to expand the preferential trade agreement. Canada has expressed a desire that they would like to do a free trade agreement with India.
Wow.
We have already got our chief negotiators appointed. They are finalizing terms of reference. The Honorable Prime Minister of Canada is expected to India soon. So it's the world is seeing India and the strengths of a strong, decisive leadership, the demographic dividend that India offers, a democracy where the rule of law prevails, a country where the demand of 1.4 billion Indians powers India to remain probably for the next 2 or 3 decades the fastest growing large economy. the huge amount of investments in infrastructure, the great consumer demand coming out of lower GSTs, the greater purchasing power of our middle class with lower taxes, all in all, they see a journey towards a developed and prosperous India. 8x growth in our economy in the next 22 years is an offer I think nobody can
reject that. Fantastic. And so happy to meet you today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for talking to us and giving us a chance to answer all of this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Piyush.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take care of your...
Yes, of course. And you too, of your knee. You have a lot of running around to do. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.